Now we're going to process our February 2nd transaction. Received a bill for 6 months of prepaid advertising services from Kuza and Carl Associates in the amount of $600, invoice X-145. The bill is due March 4th, 2019, terms net 30 days. So let's consult, just for practice, our bill processing steps document. And remember, the first question when we have a bill to process is to answer, will you pay the bill immediately? So let's look at this. Are we paying this bill immediately? There is no check number. It does not say we're paying immediately. And it says the bill is due March 4th. So we are not paying this bill immediately. Which means the answer is no, which results in us having to use the Enter Bills window to enter our bill, which will increase an expense or an asset and then also increase accounts payable. So we go to Enter Bills. Of course, you could always go to Vendors, Enter Bills, but I prefer to use the home page. So I'm going to click on Enter Bills. And then the vendor is Kuza Carl, so I can type C-U-Z-A, and notice Kuza is not on here. But also notice it says this is a new vendor. So what we could do is we could close this window, open up the vendor center, enter Kuza and Carl Associates, close the vendor center, open up the Enter Bills, and start over. Or notice we have an Add New option right here. So I'm going to click Add New, and it opens up this window. And so what I'm going to do, to save you time having to watch me type this, I'm just going to copy and paste. We're going to leave the opening balance blank. The name of the person is Carrie Kuza. Main phone 651-555-8855. We enter the main email. We enter the mobile number. We enter in the address. So to do that, I click down here, I hit enter and paste. Again, you could just click here and enter the information into these fields. Account number, KR569, is on the payment setting. So I add it there. Payment terms are net 30 days. So now when I enter a bill, the payment terms will default to this. And print name on check is already filled out. So there we go. We've entered the vendor. Now we're going to enter the actual transaction, which is, now notice I'm on this field, so I'm going to hit tab, and the date I'm going to enter is 02/01/19, tab, reference number X-145, tab, the amount due is 600, tab, 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 tab down to the memo field. Now notice in my instructions it says important. In the memo field, enter 6 months of prepaid advertising. Now for this transaction, it's critical because later we will have to adjust for when we use up 1 month's worth of prepaid advertising. So if we forget to write 6 months of prepaid advertising, well, we won't know how much the $600 was, or how many months the $600 purchased. So it's critical on something like this that we have that information. And then the only thing else we need to do is go down here and choose a prepaid asset. So we got 2 prepaid assets, and in this case it is what? We are buying prepaid advertising. And that's it. I'm going to go save and close. Now I just noticed that I entered the wrong date. for that transaction. So this gives us a good opportunity to figure out how do we correct a transaction. So there's 3 steps to correct a transaction. 1, you have to find the transaction. 2, you have to open the transaction. 3, then you just change it and then save it. So first step, I need to find that transaction. So my favorite way to find a transaction is, since we know this was a vendor that we worked with, I need to go to the vendor center right here. I'm going to single click Kuza and Carl Associates. And then I want to make sure I'm looking at all the transactions. Now, the way to display all transactions is this has to be set to all transactions and this has to be set to all. So here's all my transactions, a whopping 1 transaction. So to fix it, I'm going to double click it to open it. And then I'm going to fix the error and then save and close. It says you changed the transaction. Do you want to change it or do you want to record it? Of course. And then I can close the vendor center.